thing that we just knew not to do. It wasn't like a big deal to us. And also, I mean, that doesn't solidify anything. You could be posted all you want, but you still can have those moments when you don't have that security. And I've been in that situation, so that means absolutely nothing.
Hold on, unpack that a little bit, because somebody just caught the Holy Ghost. They said, come on here. So you said you've been in situations where somebody was posting you, but you didn't have that security in real life. Explain that.
Absolutely. So social media is social media, right? But that doesn't solidify or validate what's actually happening in the relationship. Sometimes social media can be fraud. And so I put myself in a situation, and also I can say Cal also, where that wasn't what validated our relationship. We went in not even thinking, oh, you gonna post me, and if you don't, I'm gonna leave. Like that kind of thing. To me, that's childish.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, we didn't even take the bait with that.
Kal, how did you feel about that early on?
Early on, I just wanted individuality. I didn't want her to be posting me and me posting her, and now they meet her expecting me. I wanted her to be herself without the pressure of trying to fit a mold that God called me to do. Because we know people, when we start dating and things, like people know, they expect a word every day. How you doing? Blessed and highly favored. How you doing? Meat for the master's use. And we just want, how you doing? You know, I'm on my way to heaven, you know. I'm heaven bound. Midnight, you know, I'm on the morning train, you know. I wanted to be Kyle, and I wanted Kierra to be Kierra. And as we go, then God makes us one. You know?
All right, so come on, since we're here now, let's cook. How did y'all meet?
Right over there.
Right over there?
Right over there.
Yeah, man, that section right there.
Right over there.
So now everybody finna shift over there and be like, I think
I feel like we got two different stories though.
Look how he looking.
I feel like we got two different stories, but it did start over there.
What happened?
And then it ended right there.
What?
Right in the middle.
So tell me what happened.
So, he said get it right. So I saw him. I didn't know who he was. But something sparked in me. Something did spark in me, and if I could be honest, before him, I wasn't dating, I wasn't doing any of those things. I started the journey of abstinence, and it had been about 5 years before I met Kal. And so I was able to identify him. Like, it wasn't anything that was confusing that will cause me to not know, hey, that's my husband. But of course, I'm not going to be the one to go to him, but I'm going to just allow God to do his thing.
Hold on, Kierra. You said that you was in this space of abstinence, not having a lot of confusion going on in your life, so that when you saw him, you were able to identify him as being your husband. But you said you're not about to make a move. You're going to be patient enough to allow God to do what he does.
And that's period.
Okay, absolutely. I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. And so you saw him, and then how did y'all converse?
So I would see him in passing, and every time he would be around, I would be like Speedy Gonzalez, just walking right past, running right past. I'm like, who is this person? Why am I acting like this? Like, this is crazy. I never talked to this man a day in my life. And then one Sunday, and we had a couple of conversations where it was just real quick, like, hello, you know, that kind of thing. And then one day, you know, we were out in the middle. He had his little entourage or whatever.
Jackie, I want you to hand him your microphone.
Let's say it. Come on, let's.
You had an entourage. What you got to say about that, Kal?
Two different stories.
So what's this entourage he speaks of?
I have no idea. It must be the angels. Had to be the angels, because I ain't seen them.
So why you say he had an entourage?
Well, I'm being funny, but I'm not being funny. I mean, he's attractive, so and I understand.
So you basically said there was some other women around.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely. But I wasn't there about to be like, invading whatever that was, I was secure. I heard God, so it was nothing that could intervene with that. I don't care who was around. So
hold on. Kierra said she heard from
and I was with my godmother as well, and we were standing there, and he was getting his picture taken and different things like that. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's cute or whatever. And so, we were standing in the middle, in the front. And so I saw him, and then he was like, leaving out the door, but then he came back in.
I lost my phone.
He says he lost his phone, but I knew what was going on. So I helped him out just a little bit. How you doing, man of God? You all right? That kind of thing. And the rest was history. He walked me to my car. It was raining. He flipped that umbrella up, and the rest was history.
So Kyle, she said you said you misplaced your phone.
Yes,
and so when you walked and saw her, then what was it? What were you thinking? What was your inner monologue?
It was the procession. God is a God of procession. Adam then Eve.
Yeah.
So I saw her, and I never forget. Dr. was teaching on a Wednesday night, and he made a joke as always, and I laughed. It was funny to me, and I turned around, and she was laughing. I said, "Man, her teeth white." I said, "Whoa. This gotta be God." I've never seen. Is this a Colgate commercial? Crest? Like, whoa. It was like she was illuminated. All hell. And from that day forward, because I just got a relationship myself, and it was a terrible relationship that God himself had to tear me out of, literally. I would still be pursuing the young lady if God would have gave me the dream he gave me to let her go.
Yeah, your dream.
Like, the example you gave?
Yeah.
That was me in the flesh.
Ooh.
I was fornicating, unfortunately, and I was just soul tied after soul tied, and I was trying to get free, and I thought I was free, but then something drew me back. And one day, October 20th, 2020, God gave me a dream that she was a homosexual. And I woke up that morning and I called my mom. I say, "Mom, listen, the devil playing tricks on me." And she say, "I'm praying for you." She prayed with me. The very next day, my brother, who's in the army, he called me and said, "What's going on with you and the young lady?" I'm trying to save face because I'm a man. I say, we working it out. What we working out, I'm not sure, but we was working something out. At least I was. And went on Facebook, and there it was.
Oh, she posted?
Yeah. And that caused me to start fasting right away. I started fasting immediately. I surrender all to you I owe. But as Kierra stated, when I met her, I was also in the fasting stage. I was fasting the first 3 days of every month for like 2.5 years. So I met her at the end of my fasting stage. And so when I met her, I knew it was something different. I didn't know what, and I didn't want to tamper with it just in case I mishandled it.
Kal, you said I didn't want to tamper with it in case I mishandled it. I need you to unpack that real quick.
Yeah, because sometimes we're more interested in the package than what's in the package. And so I saw the package. I need to find out what was in the package, because it may be good to you, but not be good for you. And see, I was still in a space to where am I? Because I knew by the Spirit of God that she was going to be fine. But what about me? Was I able to properly love her, not thinking about going to the future from the past? Because oftentimes, and I've been that way before, I'm trying to deal with something in the future,